10 essential things that will improve your gameplay. Hello folks and welcome back to the channel. Today we can discuss something extremely interesting, namely the 10 most important settings to improve our gameplay. The setting may appear to be a trivial consideration, but there's reason pros use so many different controls than you. We've put together a list of 10 essential settings that improve your gameplay that we must be aware of. Number 10. Map size and location. In a video game, a map is an overall space available to the player while wrapping up a discrete objective. Location-based games are a form of widespread game, which the gameplay evolves and develops depending on the player's location. Lately, Turner added the ability to change the size of your map. Some thought it was an overly powerful feature, while others thought of it as simply allowing people to have their own preferences. The map size matters because of top-ranking players tend to check their map every 3 to 5 seconds. This enables them to glean quick bits of information so they can make a game plan right away. It also prevents us from missing the enemy. One thing to keep in mind is that there is no set size for the map to use, and it is determined by the size of the screen. Number 9 is Attack Move. Attack moving is highly beneficial when we expect the opponent champion to be hiding in a bush. Using Attack Move instruction, our hero will run towards the brush, ready to attack as soon as the enemy unit appears. This is extremely useful against foes who try to juke us. The attack move key has been used by professionals for a very long time. It is the simplest way for us to properly walk with a kite and orb. Attack movement is difficult and often defers people because it requires a little bit of work to wield into the habit. Every time we attack, we could try repositioning as soon as the animation ends. This really helps to make things easier. If you press the mouse cursor, the player's attack move will show your range and will auto-attack the target closest to your cursor. Number 8 is HUD size. The HUD, or heads-up display, or progress bar in video games is a method of which data is visually forwarded as a gopher as a part of a gamer's user interface. It gets its name from an advanced aircraft's heads-up screens, and the HUD is commonly used to display multiple pieces of information simultaneously, such as the main character's health, items, and an indication of the game's progression, such as the rating or level. The primary goal of a good HUD is to provide information to the user quickly, effectively, and with limited effort on behalf of the player. A good HUD must be something we can use when we need it, rather than something that takes us out of the game. Metroid Prime exemplifies immersive, intuitive HUD design. The important thing about the HUD is that we can smoothly see the resource bars and any cooldowns that we may have. We may not have noticed it, but we use it a lot, notably during battles. Number 7 is the chat settings. In-game chat is typically text-based or voice-based. Gamers can type messages or send them voice messages through the game, and other gamers can either choose to read them or hear them. Video is not used in in-game chat, and we can manage to change a lot of things in the chat settings. One of the most important things has to be enabling timestamps in our chat. This is especially important for jungle and assist mains who rely on summoner spells more than others. With timestamps enabled, we will be able to precisely determine when the enemy summoner spells will be cast. That is, if we ping the enemy spells. It's important to make a habit to ping the enemy spells and have a rough estimate when we can type it out, so that our supporters will know how much time we have to work around it. In addition, timestamps ensure that our map is in a good location and of a good size. Number 6 is important pings. Ping is a term in gaming to describe the time it takes between players' input and the server's feedback to those inputs. Ping is measured in seconds, abbreviated to ms. A ping of 15 ms, sometimes less, is considerably satisfactory. 15 to 47 is excellent, and 45 to 100 ms is somewhat acceptable. A ping greater than 100 to 250 ms can be barely playable, and anything greater than 250 is frequently unplayable. Ping is more of an important factor in high-level gameplay than it is for most people. Professional esports events typically LAN events to reduce ping. This helps to ensure that the game's outcomes are determined by the individual performance rather than the network performance. Ping is important in gaming because it allows your inputs to enroll faster, giving you a quicker response and input time. A participant with greater ping will experience more delay when interacting with the game. Number 5 is visual indicators. A visual indicator is a marker that assists users in quickly locating an item with an important distinguishing feature among a list of otherwise similar objects. In our settings, we can control which status effects and indicators we see, including health gain, metagain, and a few others that aren't very useful. The gold indicators, on the other hand, are the ones we should have turned on, so we can tell exactly when we successfully see as an experience indicator, so you can realize when we are in XP scope during rough games. Along with these good indicators, if we look around a bit more, we can find a magical cost turn up on our HUD as well that puts your cooldowns in an actual time. Some indicators are extremely important because they provide us with a wealth of useful information. Number 4 is colorblind mode. Colorblind mode compels all cars and teams to use the default, elevated orange and blue colors. This enables players suffering from deuteranopia, red-green colorblindness, to distinguish between different playable environments. Overlaying a color filter preset on top of a game, which slows only specific colors to stimulate various types of colorblindness, is a very easy way and by far the most common way for developers to implement colorblind mode into a game. Gamers primarily use this colorblind mode because reds and greens clash too much, making it difficult to play some of the game's maps, and as a result, colorblind mode adds a tinge of reddish bright pink to help the players distinguish between the two. This appears unnatural even to those who are colorblind, and many pro players use this setting because it allows them to see health bars, skill shots, and other items in the background that would otherwise be difficult to track. Number 3 is video settings. To begin with, we should do ourselves a favor and switch to borderless mode. This will make the game feel more smooth and allow us to easily tap in and out of game and other sections. Now that we received everything out of the way, we can now discuss optimizing video settings. We recommend aiming for the settings that will provide the best consistent frame rate. If we have a 60Hz monitor, aim for that. Otherwise, aim for the maximum resolution for your monitor. The simplest way to determine the best setting is to use a practice tool and begin with the lowest setting. Continue to increase the quality until we see the FPS drop. Then stick to the most consistent. Continuity is essential since it doesn't matter if we hit 140 FPS if we're going to rubber band around 60 and 140 all the time. Number 2 is camera control. First, we should lock our camera to a fixed position to always be in the same location. Along with this, make sure to assign a quick access button to the camera lock key. This will allow us to easily lock and unlock the screen while also sending it to the camera. If we ever need to, make a habit of playing with an unlocked screen whenever possible, as it is extremely powerful during teamfights and the landing phase. By default, the F keys will allow us to quickly pan out your camera to your allies. They are bound to the F1 and through F5, but this can be changed at any time. The camera's crucial elements include its motion detector, lens, infrared limiters, batteries, and SD card. A game's camera motion detector is what causes the camera to grasp movement. And last but not least is ability bindings. We must have a complete sense of using various keys and should practice using them instead of clicking them with the mouse. This saves us time and also assists us in leveling up during teamfights. Another useful tool to become acquainted is the quick cast, which allows us to cast abilities much more quickly. Because there's no longer lag, we should have a button that is set up to stop moving the key by default. However, while they aren't crucial, they allow you to dodge skill shots at specific times. Key binding is a technique of optimizing your gameplay by customizing the controls of a specific game to our specific needs. And these are the 10 essentials for improving gameplay. So that concludes our video for today. Thank you for watching and goodbye!